Okay, this is an amazing question. And it was one of the things that I think I was obsessed with, because I don't just try to assume that people want to buy my franchise, especially in the beginning. I try to put myself in the buyer's shoes and think through what questions are they going to be asking? What questions would I ask if I was being asked to be the first franchisee? And those are the sort of things that I would try to put together before I even offered franchises. And I really thought about this a lot. And that I came to the conclusion that, one, I needed to put my own money where my mouth was. So right before we offered franchises, 2 months before, I launched a second corporate location. And the reason I did that was, and I even got advice that I shouldn't, but I kept coming back to this idea that I'm about to ask somebody to be my first franchisee, but I haven't even done this a second time myself yet. And so a few months before we're going to launch the franchise, I started to really be bothered by the fact that I hadn't done it a second time and I hadn't tested the systems all the way. And so what I did as a franchisor was I hired an employee and I said, I'm going to treat you like a franchisee. I'm never going to visit your location, even though now I actually do visit franchise locations sometimes. But I told them, I still to this day have never visited that location. I said, I'm not going to visit your location. I'm never going to visit your location. I'm not going to talk to your customers. I'm going to hand you some trainings that I prepared for franchisees, and you're going to go implement it. And I'm going to pay you to do this because I'm testing my system. And I was like, basically, you were being hired to be a guinea pig. And that's literally what I did. And so I did practice my systems. I did practice it on somebody rather than having a franchisee be my crash test dummy or my guinea pig. I'd rather kind of experiment on somebody who's not putting their own savings and their own money on the line. And so I did that, and I immediately launched. I launched it a couple months before we even started talking or announcing franchising. And by the time we sold our first franchise, that location had been in operation for 3 months and was already having really good revenue. And I think that actually helped us sell franchises. Now, this specifically, this donut one, you're saying they have 2 corporate locations. That's a good sign. It means that it wasn't a one-off. It wasn't just they got lucky. It wasn't just they had a lot of relationships in that one part of town or that one city, and that's why it was successful. They're showing that they were successful enough to then take their profits and invest into another location, and that they actually believe in their own product. So I do think the fact that there's 2 corporate locations is a good sign. However, if you're going to be the first franchisee, that's still a new relationship. It's not an employee. It's very different. And so this potential franchisor doesn't have any experience on the franchisee relationship side yet. And you don't know how quickly they're going to grow or not. So are you going to be the one franchisee or a few while they have their corporate locations? Could they come to the conclusion that franchising is not really for us and we're going to go pursue our corporate locations and start more of those? There are a lot of risks when joining a new franchise, and I was kind of aware of this when we started That One Painter, and so I wanted to line up as many people as I possibly could. And one of the things we did was we offered a discount to all of the first 10 franchisees who signed up with us. And I said, this discount is because I'm gonna experiment on you. I'm gonna practice. We're gonna figure this out together. And I did that because I was aware that it was riskier. So I gave them a discount because it was riskier to join us. And so I am very thankful for my first 10 franchisees who came on, and in that first 6 months or so, they all signed. And we developed our systems, we got feedback from them, and then we improved our systems. And all those franchisees, they all look at the systems we currently have, and they tell all the new franchisees, you guys are lucky because it wasn't quite this good when we started. And so just be prepared that if you are first or second or 10th in a franchise, you probably are going to be a little bit they'll be learning as they're working with you. We're starting new brands now through ResiBrands like Garage Up, and we're working on a third one. But we are taking all of the systems from That One Painter that have already proven to work, and then we're just implementing them to different home services. So it's less risky now for a franchisee to come because it's systems that have already been tested through That One Painter. So again, I'm not opposed to people joining a new franchise system. I think people need to, if it's the right one, and you like the founder or you like the CEO or whoever's doing it, then join it. But if you're asking me what's safer, it's safer to join one that's already established for sure.